Hey guys, so today we have a mini tea, which is, you guys don't know, just me going over little stories that have happened on the internet in the last few days. I haven't been posting many videos because mental health deteriorating, we stan, we love it. But also, on a more serious note, like I said, I would mention this in a few videos because I think it's, still important to talk about it. There are currently protests in America, in the UK, and in many other countries regarding Black Lives Matter due to the murder of George Floyd, which, as you guys know, I spoke about that in my last video. I'll be leaving any links to donations, petitions, any channels that I think I've spoken about this in description, along with I recently found out that there is a channel who posts a playlist of videos where if you don't have any money to donate but you still want to contribute financially, you can watch those videos on repeat. Like you can just put your laptop down somewhere and then play the playlist on repeat, and it will, all the AdSense that comes from those videos will go straight to all the donations for the different charities and the different foundations. What are they called? Yeah, just for different donations. That's something you guys can do. I'm just putting this out there so that we can all educate ourselves on what's happening and how we can help to basically just stop that from happening again. I don't have mascara on. So I forgot to apply my mascara, and obviously I was trying to impress you guys, so I paused my filming and tried to reapply mascara, and when I was pulling it out of the container where I keep all my mascaras, it flung out and it fell directly into my coffee mug, and then it went everywhere, including into my notebook. I do love that for me so much. I'm hoping that this doesn't rip the pieces of paper because they're quite thick, but that it gives it that when everyone did history projects and you would put tea stains on the outside of your paper to try and make it look vintage. I hope that's what happens with this and it doesn't just rip them. So maybe I'll just have a vintage looking notebook. At least this is easy to wipe down, so that was fine. I don't know why I'm giving you a rundown of my notebook, but I was just kind of upset about it, really. It was kind of disappointing. I also just stained my jumper, and I've already stained it once because it I had pasta go somewhere here. Let's get into it, possibly. So a while ago, this is old tea, but I forgot. Jaclyn Hill posted a picture on Instagram with a t-shirt or a jumper that said Budweiser on it. It was a Budweiser t-shirt, which if you guys don't know is a beer company, beer brand. And obviously she has admitted in a video where she was going to talk about her second Morphe palette coming out. She spoke about how she was struggling with alcohol abuse, and then someone under that picture said, "Aren't you a recovering alcoholic?" And she said, "No, I'm not," which either means that she's already recovered and she doesn't consider herself a recovering alcoholic anymore. She considers herself just recovered, or I don't know, something else. But many people have then kind of taken that as she lied to us about substance abuse, which, how about you don't put things in people's mouths? How about you don't assume or insinuate that you know the truth behind what they're saying? Because sometimes I say stuff and I'm like, oh, this sounds fine, and then someone points it out that it's not fine, and I'm like, I didn't realize, but now that you've pointed it out, yeah, I guess I could have worded that a little bit better. Anyway, so I think people are just grabbing onto words now. People are kind of hypersensitive about things that mainly people that they consider problematic to say. So for example, Jaclyn Hill and Jeffree Star and James Charles, they could say anything and it'll be taken the wrong way. Of course, I'm not defending Jeffree Star because he said some that can't be taken any wrong way, but there are, they could tweet out a very innocent thing and it'll be taken the wrong way. But I think that's just the perks of being a YouTuber. Anyway, the next piece of tea is Lush. Someone tweeted at Lush saying, at Lush Cosmetics, you have the BLM hashtag in your bio, yet you are still following a known racist at Jeffree Star. Which side are you on? And Lush North America replied to that saying, hey there Molly, thanks for pointing this out. We have unfollowed them and thank you for bringing this to our attention. Love that for them. Absolutely love that for them. Anyway, James Charles recently turned 21. Yes, 21, because it was the first time that he was drinking, and he filmed a video where he gets ready, his makeup, while also drinking alcohol. And then at the start, people thought he shaded Jeffree Star, because if you guys don't know, Jeffree Star has been lying about the fact that he's never tried alcohol when he has, which to be lying about, but go off, I guess. And James Charles did this and he was like, yeah, I've never really drank alcohol, but obviously I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, I've never drank a sip of alcohol, because I have, but what I'm saying is I've never drank full on. So I'm guessing he was shading Jeffree Star for basically continuously saying, oh, I've never tried alcohol, not even a sip, and then he clearly has. So tea. Recently, Madison Beer was called out for photoshopping her pictures. If you guys don't know who Madison Beer is, she is an Instagram model kind of a person, but also she is a singer who was discovered by Justin Bieber's manager and Justin Bieber when she was first coming out on the scene, and she has now released a few songs, and yeah, she's just very beautiful. Most people just remember her as most people know her as the super beautiful girl that everyone wants to look like, but everyone is kind of debating on whether she's had some plastic surgery done or just any cosmetic procedures. This is her a few years ago, This is her now. You guys can make up your mind. I definitely think she's had a few things done. Her nose looks completely different. There are just things about her that look very different, including her lips, which she claims that she used to have filler and then she had it dissolved and now she doesn't have any filler, even though her lips do seem bigger, but she's saying that they just grew. But like, wouldn't they grow proportionally to how your face is growing? And then they would technically be the same proportions to as they were a few years ago. You know what I mean? Like a baby, right, has an arm. This is a weird... Let me go along with it. A baby has an arm, and if the arm keeps on growing and the baby keeps on growing, the proportions between the arm and the baby and the arm and a toddler will remain the same, even though they've both grown. So the same should be with your lips. Like if your face is growing and your lips are growing, they will still be proportionate to your face and they will still seem small, even though they've grown, because your face has also grown. I know where I'm going with this, but as in, it's just very confusing to explain. I think she's had things done, but I think she's kind of embarrassed to admit it because she is considered to be one of these like super beautiful girls and she doesn't want to like ruin the facade. If she hasn't had anything done, then wow, I want the glow up that you've had. What kind of puberty did you go through and where can I buy some? But then there was a picture that came out where apparently she like photoshopped herself because some of the lines were a little, and there was a few things missing, and she said that she photoshopped a poo, like a bird poo out, which, okay. So yeah, people had to go at her. And then she went on live and just started going like, why is everyone hyper focused on my looks and I haven't had anything done? And it's just the same story reiterated year in, year out, because people accuse her of photoshopping and having surgery that she doesn't disclose all the time. And like, she does this like complaining all the time. Like every time someone calls her out, she like bangs on about it and then it goes away for a year and then it starts again because, you know, it's a cycle. I don't think it's wrong to have anything done. I just think when you are mostly known for your good looks, you're doing other people a disservice by not mentioning the fact that you've had done, if you have had it done. So with the Black Lives Matter movement right now, there are a few people that are obviously getting called out for being less than great in this situation. So for example, Miss Malaysia, she won in I believe 2017, has been posting some shit, if I tell you myself. What? Some, if I could say so myself. If I could tell you myself, that was so stupid. Anyway, she went on a whole rant on her Instagram stories, which I like screenshotted most of it. So she goes, to the black people, relax, take it as a challenge, makes you stronger. They've been taking it as a challenge for a while now. I think taking it as a challenge and making yourself stronger through it is long gone. I'm sorry. They have been treated like subhumans for a while. Like, let's be honest now. First, slavery. Yeah, slavery was abolished, but then there was still segregation. And then now you'd think, oh, segregation's not happening anymore. But then they're getting like disproportionately arrested, disproportionately killed by police officers. There's still a lot that can be fixed. The fact that some women can't have certain hairstyles to work because it's seen as unprofessional, even though it's just a natural hairstyle for black women to have. You know, there are still miles that we have to go to like get to a good spot. And the fact that it's been happening for so long, you can't just tell them to like relax and take it as a challenge when it's been happening for this long. Like, it's not a blip. It's not like a blip in history where like something happened and wow, like we're over it. You know, this has been an ongoing issue. So I think taking it as a challenge, relaxing and hoping that it makes you stronger, long gone. Please miss me with it. You chose to be born as a colored person in America for a reason. Who the fuck, as a sperm cell and an egg cell, chooses to be born black in America? I didn't choose to be born in Poland. I was just born in Poland because as a fetus and also as a sperm cell and egg cell, you're not like, oh, well, we're currently in a certain country and I don't want to be born in that certain country, so I'm just not going to make pregnancy happen. They just like get away from it. Like, you just don't get pregnant? What? Like, how does that make any... How did anyone choose to be born colored in America? Isn't it your parents' choice for getting pregnant? And also, you should be allowed to be born anywhere without being discriminated against. This is so stupid. Anyway, to learn a certain lesson. Yes, because black people are used as a prop to learn stuff. They're always a way to educate yourself on it. And you know, they're not here to teach us. They're also not there to learn stuff. Like, I don't go through life like, oh, this is a lesson, this is a lesson, this is a lesson. Because, you know, you have the right to just go through life without too many bad things happening to you. That should be a right. And people go through bad things that teach them lessons. But if you're not black, you don't go through bad things because you're black. You just go through bad things because that's how life is just programmed. You can go through bad things as long as they're not because of the race that you are, if that makes sense. Like, your race shouldn't make your life more difficult, but it does. Do you know where I'm going at with this? It's like, they didn't choose to be black in America, first of all, and two, their race shouldn't be some kind of a lesson to them because your race is something you can't change. So like, does that mean you're just going to be like at a disadvantage, but you're supposed to just take it as a lesson and like learn from it? Well, you're supposed to learn from it that people are Is that we're supposed to learn from that? Because I think we all know that already. Anyway, accept it as it is. Till now, hunger and poverty still exist. It is what it is. It's inevitable. Best you can do is remain calm, protect heart. Don't allow it to crumble. That's your responsibility. And then she goes, of course, this is to the ones who understand this level of state of mind, not for everyone. Everyone goes at a different rate. Oh, so because people are angry about their family members going out and being killed for no reason, that means they just haven't grown into that mindset. Like, what mindset is it? An ignorant mindset? I don't think you grow into an ignorant mindset. You grow from an ignorant mindset. So you have a lot of growing to do, not black people, if that makes, yeah, I'm just pissed. And then someone posted on their Instagram, so it was Maxwell Russell, posted, are you stupid? How can you be so exposed to the world and different cultures and still be this uneducated? And she has, I have power over you because I managed to tick you off. Here I am laughing at my phone screen. Get what I mean now? It's okay. Don't need to. Just let that sink in. She thinks she's like winning because she's riling up black people by telling them that their issues are just a learning curve in their life. And then she posts some kind of a quote saying, learn to discipline your emotions because if you don't, your enemies will use them against you. They've been... People have been against black people all this time that I think it's a little too late for just disciplining yourself. They have every right to be angry. You would be angry too if you were at a disadvantage, but you're not. She goes, I don't live in America. It's nothing to do with me, but to me, it seems like the whites won. Because if you're angry, you respond in rage and anguish. That means it has power over you. They have power over you. Okay, so tell me how women got their rights. Was it due to peaceful protesting? Was it, them just waiting it out and just disciplining themselves? Or was it the suffragettes coming in and throwing bricks at buildings and then, wow, women can vote? Obviously, that's a very simplified version of the story, but yeah, it definitely wasn't peaceful and no one had a go at them. What we did end up getting is more rights. Then, obviously, with the LGBTQ rights, there was a trans black woman who started the protest, big, almost, a semi, I guess you could say, violent protest. And now LGBTQ people have more rights than they did before in most countries. It's still a long way to go, but it definitely started some kind of a progress. Why was no one having a go at them, but now we're also all of a sudden having a go at black people for doing the same thing? Because they saw that those protests helped other groups of people out. So obviously they're going to do the same thing to help themselves out, right? Like, history repeats itself. If you see that something works, you're going to do it. And, we've had peaceful protests. So there was an NFL player who didn't stand for the national anthem to kind of, protest police brutality, and everyone had a go at him because they had a go at him, even though it was a peaceful protest. There have been many peaceful protests and they just didn't work. Because I don't think racist people care about peaceful protests. What they do care about is having their lives disadvantaged in some way or inconvenience in some way. And a big protest like now is an inconvenience to people that might actually make them open their eyes. And then she said, I don't mean the riot. I mean everyone else who has nothing to do with it, but so busybody. Most people mindlessly follow what the masses do, creating unnecessary anguish. Monkey see, monkey do. I don't know if this was supposed to have a racial undertone, but the fact that we're talking about black people. Am I happy? Yes, I'm happy. I'm happy because it's spring. I'm happy because people are having babies. I'm happy for millions of reasons. Am I sad? Yes, I'm sad because every 45 seconds a child is dying needlessly from hunger, and the amount of inhumanity among humans to each other and to other species in this moment. I'm both happy and sad. As long as you try to stay in the world of polarities, happy, sad, dark, light, positive, negative, good, and evil, you cannot experience the richness of the moment which lies just behind the two. But how long can you be happy in life if you know that you're being treated worse than other people because of your race? How long can you realistically be happy with that? You can't. Right? Someone replied to her saying that they chose to be born black in America, and they go, I don't quite get this post, Samantha, but what do you mean by chose to be born as colored? And she goes, our souls chose this life, this country, this race, this human form specifically for a reason. I always wonder why I'm born in Malaysia as a white girl with Chinese mom and Indian grandparents and Brazilian dad, but I chose this all for a reason as a soul. This just sounds like waffling to me, but I'm not religious in any way or spiritual. And then she posts a lot of things how the media is portraying things wrong. So she's basically saying that even though the police officers look like they're instigating the violence in the protest, that could be all wrong. Even though we know that the media is portraying black people as the aggressors in this situation and the police officers as just defending themselves. So she has a tick for some reason. She's verified. She has 161k followers. And I was going to say don't give her attention, but she's already lacking in attention. She has 161k followers and gets less than 2k likes a picture. So, we're not even cancelling her because she's done that herself. There's nothing to cancel. So there's also a petition to remove her crown and title on change.org and all of that stuff. So don't be this person. Don't be ignorant. The stuff she said just screams ignorance and she's never seen what happens to black people in America because she's not from America, and I guess that just makes her feel like what they're doing is just unimportant and why are you doing that, Recently, Tommy Fury and Molly May, if you don't know, they were the two winners. Did they win? No, they didn't win. Did they win? Tommy Fury and Molly Mae were in, not this season, but the last season of Love Island, the British one. And they recently, so Tommy bought Molly a dog, a Pomeranian, for her birthday. And they made him a whole Instagram, who has now more followers than me, rude. And he passed away, sadly. So they posted on Instagram saying, Tommy and I are utterly heartbroken and shocked to even be writing this. Our beautiful new puppy, Mr. Chai, was taken ill in the last few days and tragically has passed away. Chai became our whole world in a short time. We had him and we couldn't have taken any better care of him. We loved him so much and he brought us more happiness than we can describe. We are really hoping that we can get some clearer answers in the coming days whilst we wait for details and more information from the veterinary experts. Myself and Tommy are completely in shock and truly devastated. In a world currently full of tragedy and loss, we understand there are far, far greater issues than this. We just need to share this information in order to start the process of trying to accept and overcome this awful situation. We are asking for some time and respect so that we can come to terms with this immense sadness and loss of our beautiful puppy. And then she posted a video on YouTube where she goes over like everything that happened. They did end up getting the Pomeranian from Russia. They had him imported, like brought over here, and turns out that he had like 0 white blood cells. He couldn't fight off any viruses or anything, but he also had an underdeveloped skull, which means that with such a small puppy as well, any like play fighting with him or any just playing whatsoever can definitely damage his brain, and he had a seizure, which is what happened. And they said that they now wished they hadn't got him from Russia, but apparently it was like a Russian breeder that a lot of like influencers buy puppies from and a lot of celebrities buy puppies from, so they thought that it was like, you know, certified, it was fine, everyone was doing it, and everyone's puppies were super healthy. So I know a lot of people had a go at them for not adopting. I never have a go at people for not adopting because, like, yeah, I wish people would adopt more puppies, but at the same time, if people are getting a dog, sometimes they're getting a dog specifically for their circumstances, and there is just no way that they will find that specific dog through adoption, or it will take ages. Sometimes it's just like the conditions people live in, the size of their house, how much time they have, do they have time to exercise with the dog a lot, like if it's a big dog. So I think sometimes it's just circumstances that mean you have to buy a puppy, and sometimes people just want a puppy because they want, for example, they have kids and they want the kids to grow up with the puppy, so on and so forth. I do wish more people adopted, but I'm not going to slate them for not adopting a dog. But yeah, I just genuinely feel super bad, and I think it's just unnecessary for people to have a go at them because they were doing everything that they thought was right. They were buying from a breeder in a different country, yes, but it was a breeder that other people had already bought puppies from and it was fine. So recently a story came out about a family channel called 8 Passengers, where there is Ruby the mum, Kevin the dad, but Kevin doesn't really take part in the filming too much. It's mainly her channel essentially. So Ruby has a few kids. She has a 16-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, a 7-year-old, and a 5-year-old. So there are 8 of them in the house, aka 8 passengers. So there are a few things that have been happening that people have been DMing me about, which makes them uncomfortable with the way that she's been disciplining her kids. So for example, most of her punishments she claims are at least 6 months long, and actually I think it was one of the daughters, she had her phone taken away about a year ago and she hasn't received it back yet, and the mum's like, I'll probably never give it back to her. So like 6-month punishments as it is are like a little steep, but also the fact that she then doesn't stick with it and is like, oh well, this punishment now will just be permanent, is beyond me. She posts many things that the kids are super uncomfortable with. So for example, there are a lot of videos about the kids going through puberty and like the sex talk. So she walks up to one of the girls and she tries to give her the sex talk, and the girl on camera says, hey, can we not do this on camera? And she keeps that clip in, and then she keeps the whole sex talk in there. She like continues to talk about it, and she feels super uncomfortable because I'm assuming, you know, it's like when your parents have a over 2 million sub channel, people in your school are bound to find out about it and make fun of you. I know what it's like, you know, everyone has been in secondary school before, where people will make fun of you over the stupidest things, let alone your parents trying to have sex talk with you on the internet, as well as talking about you going through puberty. So they have no friends. The oldest boy recently spoke about the fact that because they have no phones and their phones are just taken away from them permanently, when, you know, their friends all go out after school, they have no way of communicating with them, so they just don't get invited to things and they have no friends. Like, people don't invite them out. They just don't have friends. It could be, one, because obviously the phones thing, but two, because, you know, they're probably being made fun of at school because their parents are, you know, doing inappropriate things. It's just inappropriate. The oldest boy was sent to a camp called Anasazi, which is a 49-day camp for like kids that don't behave. Usually you send kids that are like, you know, criminals, like they steal, they have problems with the police, like you send them off to those camps because there is no way that you can discipline them. The reason they sent him off to this camp was because he talked back to them and the teachers. Point me to one teenager that has never talked back to their parents or teachers. Point me to one, because I haven't seen a single teenager that hasn't talked back. And then after he came back from that camp, he played a prank on his younger brother, basically like making him pack for Disneyland and then saying that they're not going Disneyland, and then also playing basketball with him and like leaving him hanging on one of the hoops, which is, I don't have any siblings, but from what I've heard, it is very like normal older brother, younger brother teasing behavior, which happens between brothers. And now he has lost his bed privileges and he sleeps in the living room on a beanbag, and he slept like that for a few months. So not only did he go to a camp and sleep in like a forest in a tent, he's also now lost his bed privileges. So that's probably like a year of his life that he just hasn't spent in a bed. Ugh, crazy. And I think it was a prank he played on the 7-year-old boy. They continuously ask to not be on camera. Like whenever the mom's telling them off or disciplining them, they're like, hey, can we not be on camera? And she's just disciplining them as she's filming, which I don't think I could ever take someone seriously if they were doing that to me. Like, can we just not do that right now? I don't think everything has to be on the internet. Even if you're a family channel, a vlog channel, an everyday vlogger, you do not have to put everything on the internet. I promise you, you'll be just fine. There is a 5-year-old girl who, so the school called the mum and said, hey, your 5-year-old seems to not have her lunchbox. I'm assuming like there was some kind of a mishap, you forgot or something. Do you think you could drop in the lunchbox so that she can go and eat with her friends? And the mum says, well, she didn't pack her lunch, so she's not going to get any lunch. And this will be a lesson for her because, and I hope that none of her friends give her any food so she can learn a lesson. I don't know if she means that she packed the lunchbox, but the daughter forgot to take it with her and pack it into her bag, or if she expects the 5-year-old daughter to pack the lunchbox herself and then take it. Because if that's the case, zero nutrition, let me just tell you that much. If I was packing my lunchbox at 5, there would be like no nutrition, not a single apple in sight. But if she's angry because the daughter forgot her lunchbox at home, she's 5. But also it seems like, correct me if I'm wrong, the mum's main source of income is the channel on which the kids play the main role. And if you have no other job and you're at home doing nothing, then maybe you can just drop your kid the lunchbox. It's not like she was at work and she would have to take a break from work. And plus your kids are the ones making you the money from your channel. Like, how about you just don't have a go at them all the time? Because you're the one making them uncomfortable and you're the one putting them in uncomfortable situations. Anyway, this is just strange. Then she has one of those, like, I'm assuming it's one of those like toilets that washes you. It was a bidet, right? But it was like one of those that like those toilets that like washes you after you do your business. I had one of those in like an Airbnb when I went to LA, and it was the most incredible thing in the world. I loved it. I miss that toilet so much. I still sometimes lay down and think about it. It was such a great time, honestly. So she has one of those, but it's just her bathroom. I was thinking it's maybe like an ensuite bathroom, or it's just like a bathroom closer to the parents' bedroom. And the kids, the youngest two, the 5 and the 7-year-old, I'm assuming, wanted to use the bathroom. And she basically just said, you can't use it. You can only use it once a day. And they were like, okay, but what if other people are in other bathrooms? Can we use it then? And she's like, no, if you've already used it once and there are other people in other bathrooms, you have to wait your turn. So she's basically just telling them, this is my bathroom and you can't use it, even though it's a section of the house that you live in. I think this is just super strange. Like, what is she gonna be like, oh, well, this chair you can't sit on because this is my favorite chair and you can't sit on it. You can only sit on the other ones. And if all the other ones are full, you're gonna stand. Like, no parent does this. I'm so confused. So far, they've lost 20,000 subs, but matter of fact is they haven't been gaining subs recently. So yeah, they've lost subs, but they haven't been gaining subs a lot recently, because I'm assuming maybe views are slightly dropping. And that's about it for today. If you guys enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below, anything comment down below, subscribe, hit that bell, be notified when all of that's happening. Social media and second channel in description, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.